unmute the mic. Alrighty. Hello and welcome. Happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you for dropping in. It is that time again to break some things and make some music. Let me get my windows and my brand straight here. We've got our thinking cap on. Took a week off and now we are back. So welcome to Cumin and Teeth Engraved and anyone else who's watching. And yeah, let's make some music. This is what we're going to be jamming to today. Just some nice chill techno. Let's see. Yeah, we've got some space in there we can work with. I'm going to just extend this bass line a tad. Hopefully everyone can hear me all right. Hell yeah, Cumin! Welcome! Okay. I know I've been throwing all that metal up on the Discord lately, but now it's time for chill techno. Let's duplicate this. Let's duplicate it again. Let's try bringing this down. I want some movement in here. Yeah, there we go. Maybe a higher note here. Cool. Yeah, that'll be fun to work with. Let's put this one up a little higher too. Get a little crazy. And maybe a little turnaround here. Yeah, something like that. Cool. Yeah, I like that. It's got groove. And I've already got our PS3 controller hooked up here. So last time, if you remember, we added some filtered noise in here. So we got this kind of pad sound going. Let's turn it up just a bit. Yeah. Don't have the joysticks doing anything yet, though. I think that's going to be our mission for today. And I got some sauce after it as well. We got some delay, some pedals, some reverb. So yeah, I think that's what we're going to be working with today. Cumin, so you're using the PS3 controller to edit the sound live, basically. Well, the PS3 controller, remember, we started off with the PS3 controller, just, we're taking the data and converting it into MIDI notes. So we separated that process out. We have this reliable kind of note-generating way where our buttons are creating notes and the joysticks create controller data. And now we've come back into the sound design aspect of things, and we've got our own little sound engine in here, instead of trying to control other synths with it. And so we're going to keep adding stuff to that and make the joysticks do things to it. And Cumin says, this reminds me of Mass Effect OST. Sick. Thanks, dude. Glad. I hope that's a compliment. That sounds awesome. Like Mass Effect, the video game? I haven't played it. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, cool, man. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, I haven't played Mass Effect yet. I'd really like to. That's definitely been on the list for a long time. Alright, so we got our notes up here as well. Let's make a little list of some things we want to do. So one thing we need eventually is envelope control. Because we have just a pretty standard, like, quick attack, kind of long release, and that's fine for now, but we do want to change that at some point. We also want, and this might be something we do today, to add an LFO. And particularly, I want the LFO to control the amplitude so that we can have that nice fluttery, like, tremolo effect. And have the depth and the rate be controlled by a joystick. Might also be cool to have it control a filter cutoff, but we shall see about that. Another thing we want to add is we want to add a filter after the oscillators, and that way we can have filtered white noise. And I'm going to put this at the top, joystick control. And I'm going to say that is today. Oh my god, spell. Today's mission. We've got a pretty decent little sound engine that's happening here. And if you look, we are manually controlling these couple of parameters. This is the volume of our sawtooth wave. We've got a super saw happening here. We've got a detune control. We've got the volume of our noise, and we've got the resonance for our filtered noise, which, to make it playable, should hang out at 1. But if we want to have just swooshing noise, we need to take that down to 0. So we've got these parameters to control. I've found a pretty good sweet spot here, but I think ideally we want to find some numbers we like and be able to actually play them with the joysticks. So I think that's what I'm going to shoot for today. And Kimmon says, it was glorious back in the day, probably a bit dated now. Mass Effect? Yeah, I don't know, but I've heard it's aged well. I'm sure it's still good. Thinking cap action. Alright, let's open this thing up and see where we are at. And while that opens, let's jump over here, and I want to welcome a couple of new people and say some thank yous. We've got some new folks hanging out. We've got follows from Rye Nugget, who's also a gamer and does a real fun stream with his wife. So thank you, Rye Nugget. Go check him out. We've got Robuso12. Thank you so much for the follow. We've got JRPP Man. Thank you very much for joining our little gang of nerds. We've got, oh boy, one I'm going to have trouble pronouncing. Kirdulia? Kirdulia. I'm going to go with that. I hope I'm saying it right. Welcome and thank you so much. We've also got Sidil. Thank you as well. Nice to have you from a few days ago. And Orbital Jeffo. Thank you so much for the follow. Orbital Jeffo, I believe, does a gaming stream centered around space games like No Man's Sky. And being a sci-fi dork myself, couldn't resist checking that out. So, yeah, anyone who's interested, I guess I will throw the link in for our Discord at some point here. And actually, you know what, let's not bother with that because it's over in the About section. You can just click on the Radical Discord there and it'll take you right over. Okay, so our patch is open now. Let's see if we can still make sound. No. Okay. Need to reselect these things. Okay. We've got input. We were in D Mixolydian. No, not Mixolydian. Aeolian. There we go. Now, it was a little tricky finding a sweet spot here, and that's why I want to fiddle with these. So let's try putting our noise at 0.5. Resonance at 1. And the saw has probably got a default value in there. Let's start at 0.5. Cool, so that's kind of both of them there. Oh yes, that reminds me, another thing. We want to be able to crossfade between those two sound sources, either our filtered noise or our saw. Let's try giving this some more detune. Okay, so this is reacting. We are able to edit it live now. We are good. Let's bring the noise up. Let's bring the noise. Cool. Okay, cool. So that is working. So let's just work with the noise for a second and plug a joystick into that, I think. I'm still a little undecided with if we want a second filter after both of these, or if we want to plug our sawtooth wave into this filter. I think we probably want a second filter afterwards, because we want to be able to have independent control there, but we'll see. So I think we gotta just focus on getting some good ranges of numbers here, because it's really easy for these to get out of control if I turn these up too much. She says turning them up too much. Alright, so if we have that at 0.5, we have a pretty good range on the gain slider here. Cool. And if I turn this up to 0.5 as well, these sum to 1. Which is what we want, because audio is in a range of 0 to 1. Sounds pretty good. It says, turn it up, bring the noise. Sounds like falling down a wormhole. Perfect. That's exactly what we want. Lower notes sound nice too. Yeah, some of that falling down a wormhole sound is because we've got some, we've got a ramp on the filter frequency, the filter cutoff frequency of about 500 milliseconds, just to smooth from one note to the other. Ooh, we've fallen too far. What's happening? I think we've gone into a low octave here because this is kind of an old controller, and sometimes the down button activates by itself, I've noticed. Come on up. A little more. There we go. Thank you. Alright. Cool. So I think what we want to do is kind of... Let's do the crossfade thing. I also want to hear how this sounds with no resonance. So this is with resonance all the way up at 1. Let's put the saw back to 0. And let's bring this back down to 0. And now we're back to just noise. At which point, we kind of maybe want the volume up here. Though that could be because the filter frequency is kind of low. Let's slowly turn our resonance up. And and we slowly start to hear notes emerge. So this is something I want to be able to do with the joystick. And then to be able to crossfade between the noise and the saw. Cool. So one thing I'm going to do real quick is just take all of these, not the Detune because it's got a larger range to it, but I want to make these just between 0 and 1. Mostly to protect our ears, and so that I don't have to think about going too far by accident. Yeah, now I can't go over 1 or under 0. Okay, so let's see. Let's unlock this. So this is the stuff that we have left over from our MIDI patch. And here is... we are sending... here's the outputs from our joysticks. So just to review this... as I press the joystick in a direction, if I just nudge it a little bit, then we're going to successively add small numbers or subtract them. And we have this limited to 0 to 127. Though we could change that. Thinking. And you can see that visually represented over here in our little XY picked controllers. And down here is our sound engine. So here's our sawtooth gain, our noise gain, our resonance, and our detune. So let me see. I think we want to start with a crossfade. I think that would be cool. So we want at one position to have the noise all the way up, and at the other position to have the saw all the way up. So let's have... let me think this through. Let's suppose that we were going to just take one of the sends here. Let's take the left... thinking. Let's take the right joystick and take the x-axis. Now, do I want to take this send? I think I probably do. No, this is just used for display. Okay, right. So what we want to do is actually hook whatever our control is sort of into here. Actually, no, it doesn't matter. We can, because this is going in again, we can just take this send. All right. Let's turn this into a receive. And let's bring this guy down here. So now we have a control on our right joystick x-axis that's going from 0 to 127. So let's do a scale. And we're going to say incoming is 0 to 127. And we want outgoing to be between 0 and 1. And then we're going to use a cool little object called, let's remember. Uh-oh. I found this earlier. No, it was exclamation mark for not, and then minus. And we don't need the audio version of this, but we're going to set it to a value of 1 and watch what happens. Let's throw some number boxes in here. So we're scaling from 0 to 127 to 0 to 1. So minimum 0, maximum 1. And then this should give us the inverse so that when we are at 0 on the left here, we should be at 1 over here. And let's throw one more float in here just so we can see what's happening and make sure our math is correct. Okay, so as we go up to 127, on the right we get 0, on the left we get 1 as we come back down. So when I get to about 64, halfway, we're at about 0.5, good. And as I go all the way to the left, we get down to 0 and 1. And then when I go all the way to the right, they should be reversed. Okay, so I think that should work. Oh, it's playing itself. Stop that. Stop that. Now we good. Okay. Now what? Now we want to plug these in to the gain on our saw and our noise. So let's say that all the way left is noise, and all the way right is sawtooth. So that should be here. And now we don't need this. And then this is going to be our gain for the sawtooth. Simple enough. So now our right joystick x-axis should give us some timbre control between noise or sawtooth. And we can delete this too. Oh boy, by saving it, did I just reload everything? Let's go back to presentation mode. Okay, still says Aeolian D. I'm scared, chat. Alright, let's hit a button. Let's see what happens. Okay, we good. Still working. Nice. Let's turn on toggle mode. So that would be our left joystick trigger. Cool. So now we can just let those notes ring out. And when I go to the right, we should go to our sawtooth. Oh, got them backwards. Left is sawtooth. Right is joystick. Nice. And in the middle is kind of both. Hell yeah, we got a crossfade. Hey, what's up, Beard Phils? How's your Saturday going? Sick. Alright. We are crossfading. Wonderful. Stop that. Okay. We seem to have messed something up a teensy bit in our presentation mode. Odd. This guy is missing. Oh well. What happens if I close it? Maybe it'll look right over here. Yep, looks fine over here. Just one of those max uncertainty principle things. Sure, whatever. Great. Let's open this back up. And let's think about resonance. So, with the resonance... I think we want that to be y-axis on the right. So, if we have resonance at its maximum tied to the maximum of the y-axis, then the upper... Let's make some sound first, but I think that means... So we figured out left is sawtooth wave. We might want to reverse those. Thinking out loud here, but I guess that's the whole point of this, right? So, are we making sound here still? No. Okay, we reloaded. That's fine. So let's select our controller. All right, we got input. Let's go back to Aeolian and D. Up a couple octaves. Let's turn this up a little. Cool. Sweet. Yeah, so left is sawtooth, right is noise. That's fine. Let's make it so that when we're all the way up in the right corner, resonance is 1. And when we're all the way down, it is 0. So that would mean that in the lower left corner, we have all sawtooth wave. Right corner, on the lower end, would be unfiltered noise, so just white noise. And then all the way up will be the filtered noise, so more pitched. And then on the left, we could do something with Detune. That might be cool. So that would mean the upper half of our XY grid here is more pitched, and the lower half is going to be more just noise. So we kind of want the detune to be higher at the bottom if we want it to be noisy on the sawtooth end, and have it be lower on the top. Alright, we can do this. I think this is going to be cool. Let's stop these notes. And let's kind of do the same thing. So we took our right X MIDI here, and let's grab our Y MIDI. Do 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 do. Hey. La da 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 da. What am I doing? Where am I? We want this one. Right, Joy Y. Yeah. Bring this guy over here. All the way down here. And we're going to want 2 different scales here. So resonance is easy. Let's do that first. We don't need that anymore. And we're going to want to scale, again, from 0 to 127 to 0 to 1. Easy. So there's resonance. That should make our top right corner a resonant noise sound. Next, the detune. We kind of want the inverse of that, I think. And we'll have to fiddle around with... Let's get some good values there. So let's try resonance first. And... Damn it, I didn't mean to save. Oh well. Yep, we're still good. Cumin says, I think I gotta reboot. My audio is sounding a bit scrambled right now. But dude, this is so cool. Thanks, Cumin. I'm glad you're having fun. We'll be here. Okay, I think that's working. Alright, nice. Let's turn up our gain just a bit. I think it's safe. Awesome. So white noise, and then we go up. We get pitches. We go left. We get a saw. Neat. It does sound like we might need to do just a little bit of adjusting for gains. Because our noise feels like it's quieter than our sawtooth. And our not filtered noise, or with the no resonance, is much quieter than the resonant one. Alright, so we'll fix that. But let's figure out what we want over here. So upper left, we want a bit of detune, just for shininess. Nice. So we can fit. Hey, new person, Kokolok. Sorry, I'm so bad at pronouncing usernames on the fly. Welcome, thanks for joining us. Did I get it right at all? So Kokolok, hello. I hope you're having a good afternoon. We're just figuring out what we want the synth to sound like. And we've got 4 corners to work with. On the right, we have... On the upper right corner, we have a filtered noise signal with the resonance turned up so that we can actually play it. So that's that by itself. Turn it up just a little bit. Then, as we go left, we get a sawtooth instead. And I think that as we come down on the left, we want to change the sawtooth to make it a bit noisier. And then as we come right on the bottom, we get just noise. And then I think what we're going to do is send all of that through a filter and have that be controlled on the left joystick. Alright. So yeah, let's figure out some good numbers for this detune. I think 0.5 sounds pretty good up here. It gives it like this nice kind of chorusing effect. And then as we come down... we can get this to sound really crazy, but I don't know how much use we're gonna get, so... that's kind of neat. It gets really atonal, though. So that's at 1. Whoops. That's really nice. Maybe something like... so that's our most tonal sound. Something like 0.5, 0.6... how about 0.69? You know. Dolby, anyone? Yeah, we'll go with good old 69. Nice. And then at the bottom, I thought 22 sounded kind of cool. That's where it's like starting to come apart. Maybe 16 for safe side. Alright. Okay, cool. Let's turn that off. Let's give that a go. Though something we might want to consider is something more musical to do there might be to just control the LFO. We could add an LFO in and then have the depth be coming down there. I don't know. Let's do Detune for now. So we'll say we'll be futzing with this for a while, I'm sure. But I want to just sketch some basic things in. You know, you got to start with just sketching. So at a 0, which is the bottom, we're going to want that 16. And then at the top, we're going to want 0.69. That's wrong. We need a separate scale object for that. Try it again. So 16, somewhere in that range, 0.69 for our most tonal in the upper left. And then that's going to go in here. And now we don't need this cluttering up our interface anymore. Though I'm going to put a float in here just so that we can see what we're doing in case there are any issues. And in here. Nice. I think that should blend pretty well. Oh, wrong joystick. Alright. Sick. Oh yeah, THX Dolby. Yeah, you mean the sound they make at the beginning of movies? Wrong. So yeah, we've got a pretty cool field of sounds here. Let's jam with it for a second. Let's see how it sounds in some context. I think that's important. It's, you know, when you're just doing programming, it's easy to get caught up in the numbers, but we have to remember we're musicians too. And this stuff has to, like, actually sound cool. I like that transition. Alright, so a couple things I'm noticing right away. I think the Detune is kind of neat, but not something I would use a whole lot. And I think I want to just hard code it at a nice value. So something like that 0.69. So I'm going to take this out and we can do something else with that y-axis on the left. And I think it's probably going to be talk to an LFO. And the other thing I'm noticing right away is the gains need a little work. The signal disappears when I get over to the noise side a bit, and we can compensate for that. That is okay. So first of all, I'm just going to do a load mess and say, or maybe just a, yeah, load mess, and we want to say 0.69. I think that should be okay. Let's double click it and make sure. Can't remember if load message works with floats or not. Yep, okay, we're good. No, in here. So we're just going to kind of put that out of the way. Cool. We'll do something else with that. That's fine. Hey, you're back, human. Welcome. So we're just going to adjust these gains, and I think we can jam with this a little bit better. So what do we want? When we go from saw to noise, we want this to be a bit bigger. So generally, I'm going to multiply this by like, oh, I don't know, 1.2. That'll just make the noise a little louder than the sawtooth across the board. We can start there. But we also want to scale it so that as we come down out of resonance, it gets louder. Because we don't want the resonant one to be super loud and just blow our speakers out. But I find that we're losing the signal a little bit when we get down to just noise. So let's fiddle with the overall gain for a second. Excuse me. And then we'll add a bit more as we transition down. So from sawtooth, we want that to be about the same as the resonant. That's pretty good. Let's turn it up just a little more. Cool. I guess we could also turn this one down just a little bit. Let's put another float in here so we can see what we're doing. Just a little detour into math, guys. We're mixing here, essentially. We just want these to sound good together and be at about equal strength. Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the USS Radical. Human, you're the man. You get a thinking cap flap. Oh, man. Let's see. I got so distracted by how awesome that was. What the fuck was I doing? Okay. I'm gonna make this, like, a 0.9. And put another little float in here. Nice, happy little float. You get... No, you don't get the clap, you get the flap. It's my thinking cap. And it flaps. Flaps as I think. Space, the final frontier. Making my day. Been rewatching Star Trek Next Generation lately. Picard was like a huge hero to me growing up. Definitely a role model. Because I am a huge nerd. So 0.9. I said 0.9 over here. Let's go 1.5 over here. That sounds pretty good. It does sound a little Star Trek-y, doesn't it? Wait, let's see. What scale is that in? Maybe at some point we'll play the theme. Let's come down an octave. that sounds pretty good. Maybe up just a little bit on the noise. Something like 1.8. Lovely. All right. Pew! All right. Call that 1.8 here. Get rid of this. Leave that at 0.9. That seems pretty good. Now, the only other thing we want to do is say that when resonance is 0, we want to multiply a little more. So we're going to range this between... So let's do another scale here. So scale is going to say from 0 to 1 this time. So minimum and maximum of our resonance. We want that to go. So when resonance is at 1, we don't want to change anything. So we're going to be multiplying by 1. But the minimum we want to be, when we're at minimum resonance, we want more gain. Beard Bill says, yeah, you don't want the clap, my friend. Yeah, nobody wants the clap. This is a flap. It's very different. So, yes, at maximum resonance, we want to not change our gain. So we're going to be multiplying by 1. At minimum resonance, we want to increase our gain. So we're going to multiply by, let's say, 1.5 again. And we might want to change that. So let's throw a number box in here so that we can watch what we're doing. This is separate from the resonance number, but we're basing it on that. And then this is going to go into the right inlet of another multiplier. Default of 1. Don't forget the decimal point there, because we want float values. Oop, right inlet. And I suppose we're going to want to actually trigger the output as soon as that changes. So we need a trigger here. Trigger, bang, float. So that's going to come in here. First it's going to set this, and then we're going to trigger the output. So the noise gain is going to go through here on the left. We're going to bang whatever is in that number, and then this is going to go into our polytilde patch. Yeah, I think that's right. And let's put another float here so we can watch, because I don't trust anything. DTA. I guess that's don't trust anyone. But I don't trust anything. It's different. So let's see. Right, so if we watch this number box right here. Oh, I missed some chat. Kevin says, I read Metallica's article in Playboy. I am aware. This program reminds me of LabVIEW. I don't know LabVIEW. I'll have to check it out. Again, I hope that's a compliment. Alright, so watching these number boxes here. When we're at 1, this should be the same as this. So we're not changing our gain, it's at 1.8. Then as I come down to 0, it should get a bit bigger, and it does. Now we're up to 2.7. Cool. Alright, let's put one more float in here in case we want to change this. So that's our high value. We might want to change our low value, which confusingly enough is actually our high value because we're scaling shit backwards. Stick with me here, chat. It's gonna be okay. Keeman says, yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, LabVIEW. I'll check it out. Thanks. Beard Bill says Metallica's article? I missed that one. Yeah, you know, they have articles in there. Alright, setting that to 1.5, and then if we want to change it, we can. Let's hear how that sounds. Wiggle this around a bit. So here's all noise, all resonance. Come up a couple octaves. Come on. Cameron says, yeah, normally the pages on either side are stuck together, so it's easy to miss. Okay, focus, chat. We're doing synth here. Alright. And then... Cool. So let's go left. Sawtooth. Still sounds good. Let's go right. Resonant noise. Sounds good. And now we're going to come down, and it should get louder. Cool. Yeah, that's much more balanced. Now we have just white noise. Nice, and that adjusts as I come up. I think that could be a little bigger. Let's try 2 there. So that brings us up to 3.6. Yeah, that's good. That feels a little louder than the resonant one to me. I think we're in the neighborhood. Let's try like 1.8. Again. That's interesting. We've ended up with 1.8 and 0.9 over here, so it's double. When you start seeing symmetry in your numbers, that's usually a good sign that you're on the right track. Which is, you know, subjective, of course. But it is usually a good sign. And I think maybe what we want for the Detune is just like a little bit of variation. We can still do something different with the y-axis on the left, but I think having some variation in the sawtooth wave would sound good. So instead of going all the way up to 16, let's just go up to like 1.69. Let's see how that sounds. Yeah, now there's just a little bit of modulation in our sawtooth wave. Is that... Yep, that's being received. Let's just watch for a sec, make sure that's scaling how we want it to. Yeah, just a little modulation. Oh, you know, there we go. We had a little problem here. We're coming out of this scale, so that's only a very tiny little bit of modulation. We want to come out of here. Nice. Just a little bit of... Just a little bit. Yeah. Just some harmonics. Let's give it a little more range. We'll come down to like 0.1. Yeah. That's nice. And I think down here... We're now a little louder than our Sawtooth wave. Let's just turn this gain down a tad. Make this like a 1 point... Let's just keep going with 1.69. Cool. So noise, saw. Nice. Resonant noise. Nice. Love it. Let's try it in context. Save. I wonder how this will sound octave down. Sweet. Yeah, that's doing stuff. So now we're on just the noise. Let's watch our patch here a little bit. Sick. Human says, this is good shit, thank you. And now that we've got our gains balanced, we can actually have a bit more control here in our mix. Turn that up if we want to. Getting a couple of phantom octave presses, but unfortunately that is the nature of having a really old controller, I think. There we go. Yeah, so we've got a nice little sort of field of timbres over here. Heck yeah, chat. Making progress. I guess one last thing that would be super nifty is I would love to get just a simple little LFO in here. I don't know, it's already 2:13. Cumin says, I'm going to set up for my stream and lurk this one. Another kick-ass stream, D. I love this content. Thanks, Cumin. Appreciate you dropping in. Beard Phil says, wow, those pew-pews really do it for me. Yeah, me too. I was thinking we might want control over, like, how much of that glide there is, but it kind of gives it a character that I like. I might just leave it like that. I like it. You know, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but you can't please everyone. Just make something neat and a little unique, you know? So if we were to... Here's the output from our poly tilde. Wonder if we could set this up super duper quick. So here's our... here's an amplifier. So times tilde. Started at 1, because we don't want to affect anything. So if we want just like a basic... Oh, we don't want this load mess anymore. We can get rid of that. If we just want like a basic sine wave, we want a cycle tilde. What do you think, chat? You think we could do this in 5 minutes? I got faith. And let's give that... So the cycle tilde is going to define numbers between -1 and 1. And what we are going to want to do is offset that a bit, because we don't want to multiply our amplitude by -1. We want this to cycle between maybe 0 and 2. When it's doing nothing with 0 depth, we want it to be 1, though. So that means we need to offset this with a plus. So we're going to add. Instead of -1 to 1, we want it to go from 0 to 2. So it's the same range, but from 0. So I'm going to say add 2. I think that's right. Let's throw a little number tilde in here so we can watch. And let's throw a float up here so we can control the frequency of our cycle. That's how fast our LFO is going to be. And let's just watch this much. So if we give this a frequency of, oh, I don't know, something pretty slow. So 1 time per second is 1 hertz. We can watch that change right here. Okay. That looks about right. Let's make it a little slower. 0.5 maybe? And let's actually just, can we print? I'd kind of like that. I don't know if it's going to let us. No, it's just going to say signal. But that seems right. Instead of going from -1 to 1, we're going to go from 0 to 2, right? Oh, thank you, Beardfills. Truer words have not been said. I don't know about that, but... yeah, we just want to have a little fun here. I'm seeing numbers that are larger than 2 here, which is not what I would expect. Scope tilde might be what we want. Ah, that's not correct. Go away. Yeah, so there's our cycle. Can we set a range here? Low, high display range. Let's say -3 to 3. Okay, now we can see that this is indeed, just from the cycle, we've got, yep, -1 to 1. Let's make it -4 so we're at even numbers. It's easier to judge if you're just halfway up the screen, because we're expecting 0 to 2 here. Cool. So that's a quarter. Now if we add 2, Right. Oh, we want to add 1. I'm an idiot. That's why. -1 is our lowest value, so if we add 1 to that, we get 0. There we go. That's what I expect. See? Thank you, scope. So yeah, scope tilde, good for debugging your signals. Flap. Alright. So now we have numbers from 0 to 1, and we can control how fast they are going. Oh, right, no, but we want this to actually fluctuate around 1. So the midpoint here is 0.5. What we want the midpoint to be is 1. So let's go add 1.5. And now, if we want to control our depth, now we can multiply that. So we want a times tilde. Give it a default of 1. Actually, this one. This we would want above. Oh my god, I'm confusing myself. Let's make our times tilde before our plus tilde. And this would have a default of 0. Because we want to be able to turn this off. So, let's start there. If we put a float in here, we should be able to... So now there's no signal. If I turn this up, yeah, now it starts fluctuating around 0. And that's right. That's what we want. But we want to, instead of fluctuate around 0, we want to fluctuate around 1. So we do want to just say plus tilde and 1. Okay, I feel good about that. There we go. So if we put this at 0, we should see, yes, perfect. Now we have a straight line at 1 at when we have, so this is going to be our depth control. Let's label it depth. There we go. At a depth of 0, we don't change anything. And at a depth of 1, it should modulate around. Okay. That looks good. And it's not going below 0, so let's limit this and give it a range of 0 to 1. Nice. And now we have depth, we have rate. Let's label that too. Okay, we're real close. So now we should be able to take this signal and just plug it right in to our volume here. Okay. Hell yeah. Let's see if that works. We have an LFO! Heck yeah! In 7 minutes. Let's give it some more depth and see what happens. And we can probably hear this better if I turn off some of the sauce here. There we go. So that's without all the delay and reverb and stuff. Nice. That's what we want. So let's give this rate a range. So let's say from like, oh, I don't know, 0.5, nice and slow, up to like 10? We could go faster than that. You want to go faster? 15. Faster? 20. Yeah, love it. Yeah, something like that. We don't want too much of our range taken up by that. So... and then depth is 0. Nice. Let's try plugging one of those into our y-axis. Actually, these might be good on the left joystick. Let's do that. Left joystick. X and Y. Where do those go? Come on. There they are. So let's do Y on the depth. So that's going to be scale 0 to 127 as 0 to 1. That's easy. And then let's do X as the rate. 0 to 127, scaling to, let's say, 0.5 up to 17. Bet that'll sound good. Alright, nice. Let's play. Let's jam. Interesting. Okay. Try one other thing here. All right, this depth is pretty much an on-off kind of thing. So let's say that if we are in, yeah, all right, if we're even above 0 at all, it's going to be on. So I just want to take my right joystick MIDI, and I want to say if this is, let's just scale 0. I just want to say split, actually. Split what I want? I think it is. Yeah. Zero to 10. So if we're in the lower range, then this will be off. If we are in the higher range, anything over 10, this will be on. And then we're just going to do a little bit of, need a message there. I'm just going to slur this, give it a ramp. $1, give it like 500, 200 milliseconds, something like that. Move this out of the way. And we need a line. I think that's right. Started at 0. Bang this to see if it works. It does not. What the hell? I swear this was how we did it. Okay, maybe we need 2 arguments here. Let's do... Here, this is better. We can just say 0, 100. So go to 0 in 100 milliseconds or go to 1 in 100 milliseconds. We'll make that one a little longer. So is that going to work? Make it a bit slower. There we go. Maybe even a little slower. Cool. And actually, instead of a split, we just need a greater than. So greater than, let's give it, oh, I don't know, 15. And we turn it on. And we only want to do that once. Move this down a bit. So now what we need is toggle so we can see what we're doing. Select 1 or 0. Bang, so we can see what we're doing after that. I think that should do it. Boop, 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 boop. So on a 1, oh, got these backwards. So that should be a 0, this should be a 1. There we go. So on a 0, we go to 0. On a 1, we go to 1. With a little bit of a slur. And that should happen whenever we go to a number higher than 15. So if we're anywhere above the left corner, really. Or the right corner. So 0. Oop. 1. Oop. Oh, we don't need this change, I guess. 16. No, yeah, we only want to let 1 through. See how this is continually banging? So we do need a change here. Why are they both going? Hello? Let's put a print here. What's going on? Clear that. So, 1. Print 0, print 1. What? Why isn't this working? Oh, we have this. Oh, it's because we're already hooked up to our PS controller here. So, just testing it with our integer box here. 7. So anytime I trigger something here, yep, nothing, nothing, nothing. But as soon as I get to 16, we get a 1. As soon as I get to 15 or less, we get a 0, but we get it only once. All right, so that is working. Nice. That's what we want. So depth is now either on or off, controlled by our right Y. Awesome. Okay, that's working. Beautiful. And now what I want to do is control the rate, also with Y, and have it go. Yeah, that might work. Like that. Okay, we're coming from receive here. What are we getting? There we go. From 0 to 127. Let's give this a smaller range, maybe something like 10. Why is that going up so fast? That's so weird. New float box. Oh, haha, it's because I have a decimal point wrong here. See, I said 0 to 1.27. That's not what we want. There we go. That should do it. That's why it sounded like a helicopter. All right. Hell yeah. Into here. Now we should have some more control. So that'll come on pretty quick. All right. And let's give this maybe a smaller number. We don't want it to go too fast. And I think we want to kind of reverse this. So when we're at the bottom, it's going to be real fast. And then turn off eventually. At the top, it's going to be nice and slow. I think that'll sound neat. Let's give it a try. And one other little thing. Let's make this just a bit smaller than 15. Let's try 10. Yeah. All right, cool. I bet that'll be good. All right, chat, here we go. So let's watch this guy, and we'll see what happens. So go into noise. And there's no LFO yet. But as we come up, we should start to get some LFO. Where's our LFO? was working a second ago. Hello? So that's off. That should be on. Frequency. Oh, we didn't actually connect the depth, that's why. There we go. Interesting. Let's put our sauce back on here. I think we want to reverse the speeds. That's sounding good, and I think we want to just turn it on quicker. Let's actually just make this like 2. Ah! There. In fact, you know what? This can actually just fuck off. Depth could just always be on. I'm pretty okay with that. Load mess 1. Because it's pretty subtle once it's fast. And then we can just control the rate. I dig that. You can hear it a lot more on the sawtooth. Twitch crashed. Think you were going too hard? Yeah, probably. That's pretty sweet. see what I'm doing here. Pretty good range of timbres there. Alright. We've gone way over. I think it's time to call that a stream. Stop. Stop! Alright. Happy Saturday, y'all. Let's go raid somebody. I think Cumin said he was on. Let's go see what he's up to. Thank you so much for joining us. Next week, we will add more nifty controls. That was all right joystick. I think that is the plan. Where is Cumin? Is it 2 U's? Cumin, where are you? I cannot find you. Hold up. Hold up. Thanks, Beardpills. Happy Saturday to you, and I'm glad that you enjoyed the stream. Let's go find Cumin. Seriously. Why isn't he showing up on my thing? Quumin. Yeah? Okay, he is not on yet. Alright, well, we'll go raid somebody else then. Sorry, Cumin, next time. We will go and raid Penguin. Playing Apex. Let's go. Raid now. Okay, and that is that. See y'all later.